A deadly shooting in the Beechmont neighborhood. According to police, at 11:15 last night, they responded to a call of a shooting in the 4700 block of South 3rd Street. That's around Woodlawn Avenue. When officers arrived, they found a man who'd been shot. He died on the scene.
The LMPD is also investigating a deadly shooting in Highview. Around 10 o'clock last night, police were called to an apartment complex on Avalon Springs Drive. When they arrived, they found a man who'd been shot several times.
Unfortunately, after the officers rendered aid, the man succumbed to his wounds.
Right now, there are no suspects in either of these shootings. If you know anything, call 574-LMPD.
The Louisville Metro Police Department is taking some new steps to address violent crime in our city.
The department just announced a new unit focused on investigating non-fatal shootings. WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez explains how this non-fatal shooting squad will work.
While Louisville's staggering murder rate gets the most eyes as it relates to violent crime, every single shooting.
The difference between a fatal shooting and a non-fatal shooting can be a matter of inches.
Is met with trauma and at times serious injury.
I'm sure many of the same characteristics and are often only separated by good medicine and timely responses by law enforcement.
Louisville suffers hundreds of shootings a year where no one dies, and those cases can often overwhelm officers with a lot more on their plate. Now, Interim Police Chief Jackie Gwen Villarreal is taking an idea from one of her previous departments.
So I know the value in creating this particular unit
and making it a reality. The newly announced LMPD Non-Fatal Shooting Squad is a designated team, including 2 sergeants and 16 detectives that'll handle all non-deadly shootings.
I am surely confident that we will be able to solve more cases.
Lieutenant Stephen Lacefield commands the unit, which will work in conjunction with the ATF Louisville Field Division.
This allows the lead detective to be interviewing a victim at the hospital while receiving real-time updates from on-scene detectives who are gathering evidence and speaking with witnesses.
Christopher 2X,
Executive Director 2X Game Changers,
leads a nonprofit supporting families affected by gun violence.
Hopefully this can at least reassure families, this new announcement, that there is a unit that is out there trying to at least give them some hope.
He believes the move provides much needed help to an underserved community. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Another move to help solve crimes in the Metro. Mayor Craig Greenberg's investing $37,000 in the Kentuckiana Crime Stoppers. The program offers another way to anonymously report crimes. It's helped solve over 11,000 felony cases and seized up to $10 million worth of drugs.
$250,000, that's the new bond amount for Trayshawn Fowler Milan, the man who police say admitted to opening fire inside the mall St. Matthews.
I find that the pretrial bond that was set by Judge King is insufficient, and so I am going to be making a change to that.
St. Matthews police say Fowler Milan fired 3 shots inside the mall on May 31st. One of those bullets hit a man who had to have surgery but did survive. Investigators say the shooting was an isolated incident between people who knew each other. If he posts bond, he'll be put on home incarceration.
And 3 family members are now facing charges after a little boy shot himself. All of them are expected in court this morning. Jarrell White, Jasmine Wiggins, and DeJuan Floyd Jr. have each been charged in connection to the shooting on May 20th. White and Wiggins are the child's parents. Floyd is the boy's uncle. According to court documents, the toddler found a loaded handgun in the home and shot himself in the leg. His parents weren't home at the time, and the uncle told police he slept through the whole thing. Instead of calling 911, investigators say the 3 tried to treat the boy themselves and cover up the shooting. 3 hours later, they took the boy to the hospital for treatment.
Louisville leaders are looking for some new ways to curb continuing reckless driving issues. And one idea that's been rolled out in East Louisville are these. These are called rumble strips, and you're probably familiar with them on some level. They vibrate when you drive over there and make a really loud noise, and it's really uncomfortable for your car. WHAS 11's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Ian Hardwitt looked into how they're being received.
We've done a lot of things to the park to beautify it. There's been a lot of improvements since this became part of my district.
And what you're looking at And listening to is Cox Parks' newest addition.
We've added rumble strips, and that came as an expense to the city.
Councilman Scott Reed said the tool has proven successful in other parts of the U.S.
As far as I'm aware, that's the first time it's been used in and around this area.
An area that sees its fair share of reckless driving disturbances.
Just based on the number of complaints that we get, it's easily, 3 or 4 a week.
You know how often people do this stuff here? Would you say from what you've seen or heard?
A couple times a week.
Yeah, probably 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Ryan Mattingly and his friends came to Cox Park to fish.
I'm stringing it up because a fish took my bait.
But they're aware of the problem here.
Yeah, I think there is a reckless driving problem, especially in this upcoming generation.
Councilman Reed agrees. He believes this is the best way to go about it.
We don't want people to damage their cars, but at the same time, we want a deterrent to keep people from dragging, from doing burnouts. We want a safe park.
It doesn't come without some criticism.
And people with trailers and boats, I've seen them come through with big boats and they're moving around. I'm like, that could cause unnecessary damage to this.
Well, I think that this is a reasonable compromise because the boaters were pretty adamant that they didn't want speed humps. We don't want to hurt them. We want to come up with something that's fair to the boaters, but that will prevent the drag racing from happening.
A new effort to curb a persistent problem. Connor Steffen, WHAS11 on your side.
Councilman Reed said the rumble strips could expand into the non-boating parking area of Cox Park, and they could be installed in other areas of Louisville that see a high number of reckless driving incidents. The city, you might remember, recently passed a new ordinance to prevent street racing. Under it, drivers can be fined up to $2,000 and their cars can be seized for up to 6 months. Since it passed, Metro Police say at least 35 vehicles have been seized.